Hello art friends, Melissa here from Paperlicious Designs. Today I'm creating a floral themed art journal layout in my 8x8 Arteza art journal. I'll be using a floral image from one of Shawn's collage packs and 3 of her stencils. So let's get started. I begin by mixing up different shades of purple acrylic paint using Brilliant Purple, Prisma Violet, and White. I'm adding some glazing medium to slow the drying time of the paint. I play with different shades to try to get some shadows and highlights on each of the petals. The glazing medium makes it easier to blend the different shades. The floral image I'm using is from the Create, Inspire, Love collage pack. It actually comes with a total of 7 floral images that you could try this same technique on. It also comes with some ephemera that you could use in your background. I was really tempted to use it in my background, but most of my projects the last few months have started with collage paper, so I decided to try something different today. I started with the darker shade closer to the center of the petal and the lighter at the tips. I'll let you watch me paint a few and then jump ahead to the background. While you're watching me paint, I want to invite you to join me over on my channel, Paperlicious Designs, for more inspiration using Shawn's collage packs and stencils. I have a playlist created with videos using just her products. If you click the Show More button below the video to expand the description box, you'll find a link to Shawn's blog where you can see a list of all the supplies used in this project. I finished painting all the petals and then let that dry. Then I used a pen to doodle around the edges of the petals. The pen work did not look that good at all. The lines were too thick and it was just too dark. So then I went back in with more paint. You'll be able to see the difference at the end when I go to add it to the background. So I really wanted to push myself to use some products and tools I hadn't used in a while. I didn't have a plan and I just started out playing with color. I'm working on the page in my journal as it comes. I didn't add any gesso. I started with some Peacock Feathers Distress Ink and I'm using a 1.5 inch brayer. I love the smaller brayer size. So it was kind of blotchy, so I added some water to spread the color out. Distress inks are water soluble and they can be reactivated even after they're dry. After that first layer was completely dried, I used a makeup brush and added some Wilted Violet Distress Ink. I wanted to get some of that purple from the flower in the background, and all of this is completely random at this point. I never used my Jane Davenport color sticks, so I grabbed one of those to use next. They're similar to the Gelatos and the Tim Holtz Distress Crayons if you've ever used either of those. This particular one is called Eccentric. All the products I've used so far have been water soluble, so just to be on the safe side, I applied a light coat of clear gesso before continuing with the next layer. I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to go in next, and if I added more wet color on top of what I already had laid down, it could reactivate that color and cause some mudding to occur. So I took a break to let the clear gesso dry and figured I'd come back and see which way I was led to go next. And when I came back, I decided it was time to start adding some stencil pattern. Here I'm pouncing on gesso with a makeup sponge over the 8x10 inch Mediterranean Duo 1 stencil. I really wasn't loving how it was looking at this point, so I decided to try another medium I hadn't used in a while. After all that gesso dried, I sprayed on some Dylusions Vibrant Turquoise Spray Ink. I added some water to help spread the ink out. The gesso works as a resist, and it's easy to blot it back up with a paper towel where needed. The ink spray gives the super white gesso a distressed look and helps make it look like it's a part of the background and not just sitting on top of it. and I was liking it much better now. And if a little looks good, well then a lot would be even better, right? So here I am adding some more of that spray ink. And after the ink spray dried, I started applying some Wilted Violet Distress ink with a makeup brush over the 8x10 numbers jumbled stencil. Next, I applied the black waterproof India ink over the 8x10-inch dictionary page stencil. I was trying to figure out how to frame the flower with the words, so that's why I flipped it upside down on the bottom. I moved the flower back and forth on the page to help me figure out where I needed to add more words to the background. The words grounded the four elements so it didn't seem like it was just floating on top. So I used the words to frame the flower. I applied some gesso with a palette knife over the words to make them distressed and not so clean looking. And then added some more to the background to make it more cohesive. Once I was happy with how the background looked, I used some matte medium to adhere the floral to the background. I added a few more numbers to help balance everything out, then integrated them into the background by distressing them with the gesso and the palette knife. I stamped some phrases I found in my stash on tissue paper and then adhered those with matte medium in the corners. And the final step was to add some shadow around the edges of the floral image. I did that using a black water-soluble Stabilo pencil. I hadn't created in my art journal in a while, and it was just what I needed. I always find joy and happiness when I'm playing in my art journal. And with all the chaos going on around us these days, I hope you're able to find some joy in the little things like creating in your art journal. If you're inspired by this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. That's it for today. See you next time.